Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
First down and 10 at their own 10-yard line. Tevin Coleman with some running room. Tevin Coleman down the sideline. Coleman, one man to beat. Tevin Coleman's going to go 90 yards, and Indiana takes the lead. Randall L. scrambles, started off the pitch, keeps it himself down the sidelines. He could go. Antoine Randall L. touchdown. Rory going to the single coverage, end zone. Touchdown! He hits Cooper again.
Welcome to the Hoosier Happy Hour podcast, one of, if not the biggest Hoosier Happy Hour podcast of all time, episode 285, the preview of the Big Ten Championship game. Some may be saying, look, Mr. Bragg, we played in the college football playoff last year. Yes, but I disagree with that being the bigger one. This is the bigger one because it's the Big Ten Championship, and it's against number 1 Ohio State. And we got the full crew. We got Seth. We got Brandon. What's up, fellas?
Yeah, this does have a different feel than the Notre Dame playoff game. Maybe because it's a Big Ten game. Maybe it's because, it's not the I don't know. There is just something different. I can't put my finger on it, but I am more excited. For the Notre Dame game, I was nervous. Like I could barely speak. This one, I am genuinely freaking excited. And the only thing that I can come down to it is we're guaranteed a game after this, right?
Yeah.
Win or loss here, and that's not me downplaying the importance of it, but this isn't end of the season. So I'm really not nervous at all. Zero nerves running through my body. Just super giddy, excited, maybe anxious, but not nervous.
Yeah, Seth, and I'll let you talk here in just a second. I kind of like played it out in my head while you were talking. Is that last year felt almost like imposter syndrome, right? Like it's like, how did we go from being such a crap program to like an incredible 11-1 season heading into the playoffs? Like, do we really belong to be here? And then this year, we've hit every single step along the way and like exceeded the expectations that were already high enough as they were. And this feels like we belong, and it feels like I'm different. I am very nervous. So, and I told you before we hit record that it was just now really hitting me. But Seth, what's up?
Hey, yeah, I am also here. Everyone's excited. But I think that this is more exciting because it's the 1 versus 2. There's more hype around it. There's been all week ever since, even during the big game last week, this is all they talked about was Ohio State versus Indiana, 1 versus 2. Seeding is so important for the playoffs. We've been talking in our group text about all the permutations. So you want to be in the most favorable spot. You want to put yourself in all these different positions. And then you also want to measure up against, the best out there, the team that claims to be elite, the team that, Joe Klatt was,
still is.
Yeah. Ceremoniously anointing as like the most elite of elite teams of all time. So it's just very interesting to see. And again, this is how it's going to be the next week is once we get through this game, win or lose, next week, it's going to be the most important game in IU football history again, because it's going to be either, a bowl game or hosting. Well, you're not going to fall in top 4, but you're going to be to a bowl game, and it's going to be a, quarterfinal game. So it's just really cool, really exciting. And with all the stuff being in Indianapolis as well, it's just a real fever pitch.
Yeah, and there's and today being the day that we record, there's a lot of other stuff going on. So let's get into it. It's going to be a massive pod. So if you're just now starting it, buckle up. It's going to be a long one. So let's get this stuff out of the way real quick. Happy early signing day to everybody. It went just as planned for IU. Everybody that had committed verbally or hard committed has now signed. Are they fully done? Is it all wrapped up, Brandon?
According to Matt Weaver of 24/7, he doesn't even expect anything into this the late signing period. So
Okay.
yes, it is portal time as far as recruiting goes.
Yes, and from what Sig said, he wasn't even really involved at all today. Like he said that if everything's done, the recruiting guys can handle it. Blah 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 blah. And then
And we'll cover the class in February. We did that last year. Like, this isn't us skipping signing day. Despite Indiana being done, we will go offense, defense, special teams, but that can wait. That will wait until February.
If for those that don't follow recruiting necessarily as close as some of us do, I'm pretty sure I counted it right. 24/7 composite ranking 7 4-stars. Is that correct, Brandon?
Yes.
Okay. The majority of them being on defense, I believe, but a really solid class, top 30 class, I believe. Meanwhile, Penn State is sitting in about 150th. So just to put into perspective, not that it means anything, but they have like no recruits. But yeah, that's it for signing day.
146. Penn State was 146.
They got bumped up by 4 spots, so maybe they ended up signing somebody. Good for them. Maybe they'll find a coach one of these days. Speaking of coaches, look at that transition. Let's talk about our coach. The all Big Ten selections, all Big Ten awards have come out today. Everything except for offense. So Coach Sig wins Coach of the Year again, second consecutive season, obviously, in the Big Ten. And then the defense came out. And Brandon, I've got some problem with the defensive selections, and it started a little bit rough. It started a little bit rough with the graphics department at IU because it had some people really upset. So let's get into it real quick. We'll get through the obvious ones, and then we'll talk. He's actually last on the list. We'll talk about why we should be upset about it. But we had 4 first-team all defensive players: linebacker Aiden Fisher, defensive lineman Tyreek Tucker. This one surprised me. A consensus first-round pick.
Yes. I would have flipped Farrell. I would have flipped Farrell and Tucker. But
you got to get Downs in there. First team. But Lewis Moore, first team, and D'Angelo Pons, first team as well. Second team, Elijah Hardy and Amari Farrell. Bones Jones, who played like 8 games. He didn't even really play the full season. He makes the third team. And then an honorable mention, Mikhail Kamara at defensive end, who we all kind of knew would take a step back statistically. And obviously that goes into your first, second, third team selections. The other one being somebody that was not on the initial graphic from IU. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty funny, actually. It was not included on the initial graphic. The leader in the Big Ten in quarterback pressures and tackles for loss. Leader in the country in tackles for loss. Tied with some guy from Western Michigan. Defensive end Stephen Daly. Honorable mention defensive end in the Big Ten. Brandon, does that add up for you?
Statistically, absolutely not. We know these all conference teams are a bit of a naming contest, right? Yeah. It tends to be a little bit more popularity than it does statistics. So I guess it depends what lens you look at it. If you look at it on a popularity contest, then that makes complete sense. But if you look at it statistically, he led the nation in tackles for loss, playing 2/3 of the season. Probably less than that, actually. Wyatt went down, mid-October? So probably starting half the season. So yeah, I mean, what he did in the amount of games is just silly. So I guess it depends on how you view these teams. But because for me, the teams are more about popularity contests, and the awards are more statistic based. Because it'll be like some random dude from who won the wide receiver award, like some San Diego State guy,
San Jose State,
San Jose State,
Nick something.
Yeah, so and Seth, I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I just always viewed these teams as the name. They're always going to put the bigger names higher up on the all conference lists. And then the awards are more statistical based. That's just the way I viewed it. That's just my opinion.
And I think they always favor the team or teams who have dominated the conference. So I think they always try to, so just based off of statistical success, you'll see Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon players probably, the majority of the time.
Yeah. Hey, so since he did toss it to you, how many players, I'm not trying to be a butthead about it.
We got one on defense and one and the punter. Yeah.
Was it Powell?
Powell and the punter. Yeah. And then
the punter was terrible in the bucket game. He made
that was not his. Well, I think it was more out of usage.
Okay.
I mean, when you punt like 68 times or however many he punted, I think it was just like a frequency of repetition of saying his name.
His leg fell off in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was bad. Like to the point to where every time they would punt, we would literally, the group of people around us would gather closer and get ready to laugh at like how bad this next punt was about to be. And yeah, I mean, good for you guys. That's good. That's good. I would have thought maybe somebody else would have made it.
Korea and Ra'el ended up being honorable mention.
Oh yeah, Ra'el. I read something about him the other day when he was at Memphis or something like that. Not good things.
All right,
moving on. Special teams. IU's got.
Wait, do we think anyone was omitted? Do we?
No.
Nothing for Landino. He faded. Statistically, he faded, but he was a stud the first 6 weeks of the year. When Wyatt went down and he had to change his position, he became more of a space eater than a statistic gatherer. If those words make sense. But I would have thought at least seeing Landino on the third or honorable mention. For a lot of the reasons that Seth said, because he got a lot of run on national TV. I mean, his name was constantly being said. So Landino was a little shocking to me that he didn't show up at least on third or honorable mention.
Yeah, I don't know stat wise. I think that he needs a break. Like he needs this gap, maybe another bye week here after the Big Ten championship. Because he didn't look real sharp in the bucket game. He was getting pushed around a little bit, but he's a stud of a player. I mean, he's going to be, he's got 2 more years, 1 more year left, whatever it is, yes, 2 more years left. He's going to be a beast. And that's an area that we're going to need some depth in. Even Coach Sig pointed that out in his press conference on Mondays. That it's probably the one area, interior defensive line, where they're not nearly as deep as we were last year. So he could just be out of gas.
About that before the season.
Yeah, but they've been studs. I mean, look at Tyreek Tucker. I mean, unanimous first team selection. That's the one I wouldn't have picked out. If you would have told me 4, I wouldn't have picked him. A great player.
Josiah Wheeler also had a good season, not an all conference season, but I think our defensive line as a position group was the biggest surprise for me on defense.
I mean, it's all they've talked about this week is the whole front 7, our front 7 versus their front 7, or our front 7 versus their offensive line. And we have an elite front 7 all the way across. All right, let's move on. Special teams, first team and Big Ten kicker of the year, kicker Nico Radicic, and long snapper Mark Langston. Both get first team honors. Second team return specialist Jonathan Brady. He had no shot at first team. He had 0 shot with what's the kid out of Iowa?
Wetjen
with 4 punt returns on the season. That one was locked up on his 4th punt return. It was done. All right. That's it for teams right now. As I said earlier, at time of recording, the Big Ten offense isn't out. They do something weird. I feel like they always do that weird every year where they release it tomorrow or tonight, maybe to set up one of their shows later on tonight, something like that. But I would assume if we could just take a guess real quick. Let me think. You're going to get Nando. Does Hemby make a team?
Yes.
Surratt, Cooper, Riley, Smith, Coogan. You might have a lot of – it's probably it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 players on the 3 teams.
The
Probably a good shout.
remaining awards will be announced tomorrow at noon Eastern time.
Okay, so we'll find out tomorrow. So there we go. My guess is 7. I'm going to go 7. What's everybody else's guess?
Yeah, I'm going to go one up from that. I'm going to go 8.
Going 8. Okay. This includes honorable mention.
Correct.
Oh God, I'm split right between the middle. Yeah, 7.5.
God, you're so soft.
I was trying to talk my way. I'll go 8. Let's go heavy.
Oh, so you're going with him. All right. Okay.
Like always.
There you go. Of course. All right. Now it's time for the main event. The whole reason everybody's here to listen to us act like we know what we're talking about, right? Let's talk. Well, some of us do. Let's talk Big Ten championship game. And guess what, guys? We're in it. IU's in it. And we're playing Ohio State, as Coach Sig would say. 12-0, 9-0 in conference, just like us. We are the only 2 undefeated teams left in the country. That game will be taking place at the end. It's one of the last games, or maybe the last game, or the last game people care about on Saturday night, Saturday, December 6th at 8 p.m. There is no weather that's going to be a problem. It'll be a problem for us walking to and from and around Indianapolis. But the game will be taking place at Lucas Oil Stadium, which, if you guys don't know what that is, it is a dome environment. It's going to be on Fox with Gus Johnson and everybody's favorite color commentator, Joel Klatt, the quarterback.
Wait, hold on real quick. I need to say something about
go ahead.
Lucas Oil Dome. I'm excited to hear it finally loud. I've been to I've lived in Indianapolis for 14 years, probably been to 7 to 10 Colts games, almost all of them Steeler games, and the stadium's quiet. You guys are a subdued fan base, a knowledgeable fan base, but a subdued fan base nonetheless. So I'm excited to hear Lucas Oil loud. So I'm very, very excited.
So what I will say is that we're not a subdued fan base, I would say. That place, compared to the RCA Dome or the Hoosier Dome for the OGs, just sucks sound-wise, right? Like, it is that RCA Dome would rock, dude. That place would be crazy, to the point to where I'm pretty sure it was the Patriots or the Jets used to accuse us of pumping crowd noise into
okay,
the
they
stadium.
do pump. No, they still pump crowd noise in. It's a well-known fact that
probably
the Colts
here
pump in crowd noise.
But not at the Dome. You
Oil.
have to at Lucas Oil. It's a cavernous monster place.
And Duke, Virginia is also at 8:00.
Again, as you'll see later when we predict the games, nobody gives a shit about that game, Seth. Nobody cares.
I'm trying to produce, trying to fill in some.
Do you
data.
want to know who cares? Miami, probably. Well, actually,
Notre Dame.
Miami cares about the BYU game, and then maybe Notre Dame would care about Duke and Virginia. All right, moving on. Whatever. Lucas Oil Stadium. It's on Fox. Opening line: IU plus 4.5. Over under 48.5. Went up. It's back down. Back down to plus 4.5. Over under down a point as well. 47.5.
We're all gamblers. Do you guys believe in sharps? Do you guys follow sharps at all?
No.
Seth?
I don't have enough money to gamble to follow them.
So all of the sharps allegedly, I follow gambling probably a little too close, allegedly are going to swarm the market with Ohio State about 12 hours before kickoff. So basically, if you want Ohio State, take 4.5 now. It could balloon up to 5.5 or 6.5 by kick. My point of saying that is, if you like IU and want more points, wait closer to kickoff, because the sharps love Bama and the sharps love Ohio State this week.
Bama's a bad choice, dude. Bama's been playing some bad football lately. That's
correct.
That is a team.
That's why I first started with,
what
what do you think of the Sharps? What do you think of the Sharps? But that's
I don't know.
just
They're looking at
what I'm.
now. They've made a lot more money gambling than I have, right? But I don't think they're watching. I don't think they're watching the field. I don't think they're watching.
They don't. They play it like the stock market. They're playing it like the stock market. That's it. A lot of Sharps couldn't name any players on the actual field.
Yeah, and what we've done that 1,000 times with players playing. Computers are for whatever. So, reading the outline. That's what it's for. All right, we're not going to do series notes. We're going to do all that stuff. It's the first time we've ever met Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship game. I did write that down. Fun fact, it's the first time we've ever been in the Big Ten Championship game. So, first time Ohio State's been in it since 2020, I think. And they tie Wisconsin now, I think, for the most appearances at 7. So, let's get in. We'll do their schedule real quick, and I have a little, which I guess you guys have it too. I've got a little fun thing for the listeners. So, Ohio State started strong, or what everybody thought was strong. The big game, right? The big number 1 versus number 3, because this is how much preseason polls make any sense. Penn State was number 2. A barn burner of a game. They win that one 14-7. It was actually 14-0 the majority of the game. Texas scored a touchdown, I think, with like 3-ish minutes to go. Then they destroy Grambling. They destroyed Gambling there too, probably. And Ohio at home. And then they traveled to Washington. And some interesting notes from this game. They win that game 24-6. Second quarter, Washington has a drive down to the Ohio State 3, can't score. First down, first and goal from the 3, can't score, get a field goal. They also get a drive down to the 26, which instead of kicking a field goal, they fake it, and it's terrible. They end up turning it over. Third quarter, they get the ball down to the 3, again, can't score, get a field goal. They left 15 points on the board. Now, what you guys are saying in your cars or wherever you're listening is like, Bragg, you idiot. 15 points doesn't mean that they're going to win the games 24-21 if they score in all those. Maybe. They couldn't score, though. So, I mean, props to their defense. We'll get into their defense a little bit later.
Real quick, just to go back to just because I knew you wanted to get into the Washington notes. Tone Diggs from the McAfee show had an interesting idea as far as preseason rankings go, because, again, Texas started as 1, and now they're 13. Penn State currently is unranked and currently the 146th ranked recruiting class. Tone Diggs's suggestion was you don't start doing any polls until after week 4. You do preseason awards, preseason all-conference teams, but you don't do any rankings until after the 4th week.
Brandon, if it's not for preseason rankings, why? I mean, what would Purdue basketball fans be so excited for in August?
We know,
right?
We know.
You guys are.
It's never going to happen because they have to have these 1 versus 2s first weekend of the year. So his suggestion's never gonna happen. But I did think it was probably the better way to go. And the reason he said that is because Indiana experienced it last year. Preseason rankings anchor you to what your ceiling and floor can be, right? Since Texas started off as 1, they can go 9-3 and still be ranked 13th.
Which is ridiculous.
Right? That's what I'm saying. These preseason rankings anchor teams for the better and for the worse, depending on where you're ranked. So, again, they're never going to abolish the preseason rankings. But they have a way bigger effect than I think most people realize.
We're going to have some fun now that you brought this up. You ready? Preseason rankings, AP Top 25. I need a yes or no on whether they finished the regular season ranked. Number 1, Texas. Yes. Somebody do the exercise, please. Number 2, Penn State.
No.
Number 3, Ohio State.
Yes.
So we're counting. I'm going to count the no's. So I got 1. Number 4, Clemson.
No.
Number 5, Georgia.
Yes.
Number 6, Notre Dame. Number 7, Oregon. Number 8,
Yes.
Alabama.
Yes.
Number 9, LSU.
No.
Number 10, Miami. Number 11, Arizona State.
No.
No. Number 12, Illinois.
No.
No. Number 13, South Carolina.
No.
No.
Number 14, Michigan. Number 15,
No.
Florida.
No.
Number 16, SMU.
No.
No.
Number 17, Kansas State.
No.
No.
Number 18, Oklahoma. Number 19, Texas A&M. Number 20, IU. Number 21, Ole Miss. Number 22, Iowa State.
No.
No.
That's 10. 23, Texas Tech.
Yes.
24, Tennessee.
Yes.
25, Boise State.
No.
No. 11 of the 25 preseason ranked teams, including the number 2 and number 9 team and number 4 team, are no longer ranked. Like,
Joke.
it is
Joke.
ridiculous. And IU starting at, I think, 21, 22, that kind of probably effed us at some point, or it could have at some point along the way. So, here we go. I think the way that it's kind of finished, obviously it always finishes the right way for the most part, right? So
56%
it's fine, but
success
it's
rate
so
on those
stupid.
preseason voters.
Nice.
56%. That is
Well
an
done.
F. That is an F grade.
I think it'd be
Fail.
worse if you weighted the spots. So like getting the number 2 team so wrong would be worth like 10 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and number 4 and LSU and Florida. I laughed when Florida was ranked. Like I laughed. And where they win 4 games.
4-8.
Like that's
Thanks to
ridiculous.
Florida State.
Yeah, thanks Florida State. LOL. All right, Minnesota. Back to Ohio State. And no, to answer your question, they are not ranked. Back to Ohio State's schedule. Minnesota, they take care of them at home 42-3. At number 17, Illinois. Here's where we get 5 consecutive common opponents. At number 17, Illinois, they win 34-16. Illinois stayed competitive, but failed to score from the 2 really early on in the game. May have set the tone from there. Again, Ohio State's defense is legit. At unranked, obviously, Wisconsin, they beat them 34-0. They beat Penn State at home 38-14. I believe that was a game after Franklin was fired. And then they go to Purdue. They beat them 34-10. LOL. They play UCLA at home. They beat them 48-10. That's without Nico as well. They had a backup quarterback start and play that entire game. Rutgers goes to Ohio State. They beat them 42-9. And then obviously last week in Michigan, they win that game 27-9 in one of the most boring games ever. Now this Big Ten championship game. So they, as I said, they finished 12-0, 9-0 in conference. And the reason I point out those common opponents, and again, this means nothing, but it's just fun. Ohio State point difference in those 5 games, plus 138. Indiana's point difference, plus 183. So a 45-point difference there. Another thing I pointed out, Big Ten wins by 50 points plus, Ohio State 0, IU 3. So, Seth, you want to say something?
Take out that Purdue game.
Which one?
And they're even both ways.
Oh.
I was gonna say that's the biggest difference is they only beat Purdue by 24 and you beat them by what?
Yes.
Was it
53?
53. Seth math. Seth math, everybody.
Seth math. But yeah. So there you go. But no, again, Seth math, if you 24 and 53 is not 45 points. Doesn't matter. We beat them. We beat them in the 6-7. Are you doing 6-7? Or are you just doing scales? All right. Let's get in. Do you guys want to talk about their schedule?
Real quick on schedule. Again, a lot of this has to do with gambling. I apologize for those that think it's bad. What do you think Indiana's against the spread record was this year? Because Indiana all made us rich last year. They made us absolutely rich last year. What do you think Indiana's ATS was this year?
They were 0-1.
10-2.
I'm gonna
Not even close. Not even close, Seth.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna go 7-5.
Nailed it. 7-5.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
What do you think Ohio State was?
12-0.
9-3. 9-3. So they were a little bit better against the spread. So I feel like Vegas has a better read on Indiana than they do Ohio State. Just going ahead and saying that to preface something later.
I will say that their best performance was Minnesota. That game,
that game was a disaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was their best all-around game?
Would you say Illinois was ours or Oregon?
Oh,
Illinois. The only thing that mars Oregon is that pick six. Yep.
Yeah. But that was, I mean, the way that we, and that's the thing a lot of people were pointing out nationally, is the way that our front seven dominated that incredible Oregon offensive line and their stars was it was mind blowing. I mean, the very first play of the game, we're in their backfield for like a 5 or 6 yard loss. So that's something that, and we'll get to it. I mean, that's something that's going to be very important come Saturday.
You take a peek at my outline. People remember that. Remember that stat. Remember what Michael just said.
Yeah, so get in there. All right, let's go. Let's go talk a little bit of Buckeye offense. Those of you that have listened to the pod for the years that we've been doing it know that this is going to hurt me so bad because I hate Ohio State. I hate Ohio State. I hate Ohio State fans. I hate Ohio State people. I hate Ohio State as a team. So they, on offense, rank way lower than us on a lot of these things offensively. But as you'll see, when it comes to some of the important things, they're right there with us, and that's why they've been such an elite team along with IU. So let's get into it. 24th overall in offense, 13th in scoring, with about 37 points a game. 53rd in rushing, which has taken a major leap forward from the beginning of the season. If everybody was going to point out a glaring weakness on this team, the Ohio State team was their rushing. And Bo Jackson has just been incredible over the last few games. Passing at 24th at 267 yards per game. So the main stats, 24, 13, 53, 24, right? And IU across the board, 5, 2, 9, 40. And the whole passing thing on both teams, I think a lot of it comes down to game script. I mean, with Sayin, I think Sayin rarely got pulled during a lot of these games. Whereas, but it doesn't mean that he just didn't turn around and hand the ball off. Whereas Nando was pulled, I don't even know how many games he didn't play a third quarter. Like he touched a little bit of the third quarter against Purdue. But a lot of these games he barely played. Definitely didn't play any in the fourth quarter in some of those games. But any of those jump out to you before we get into some of the bonus stats? And I actually did kind of a comparison stat between the two teams and the bonus stats because they're such close teams as far as stats go.
So it's so interesting when you think of Ohio State teams, even when they had elite quarterbacks, I still felt like they relied on their run game, right? Even last year, with Will Howard, they relied on Henderson and Judkins, mostly carried them to the national championship. Back in the old NCAA video games, remember when you did like a percentage of whether you wanted to run or pass? This would be like 70-30. Like you outline it very well. I'm going to steal a little bit of your thunder. Their backs are good. They just choose to not run the ball. Like you talk about game script. They don't even pass to set up the run. They pass to set up the pass. And again, who could blame them with the talent they have out on the edges? But that stuck out like a sore thumb. They only run the ball for 172 yards, which is 53rd in the country. We know their offensive line is good. They have talented backs. They just choose to not run the ball. So an early Brando Randos, again, for those that listen, know that I can't wait. Do you think their game script at all changes? Did they try to establish the run against Indiana, or did they throw 70% of the time the way they have all year?
I'll let Seth answer that because I only watched really Ohio State wise. I've only watched them play that Michigan game on Saturday. And I mean, granted, the weather wasn't great, but they ran the ball pretty effectively.
That's what I mean.
Against
The
the
run game is
decent
good. They
defense.
just don't do it.
Yeah.
They have turned it on lately as Bo Jackson has kind of revealed himself as their star back. I think they were really trying to establish it early on. Didn't really have anybody between Peoples, Donaldson. I think there's a guy named I think it's CJ West. I think is the other guy. They were just letting everybody run the ball. But Ryan Day, we always talk about how he's a robot, how he's a computer. He has no personality. What he's trying to do is get you into 3rd and short, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 or less. That's ultimately what he's trying to do, and he's trying to ball control. If you look at his time of possessions, ball control, he is always top of the charts. And I think Joel Klatt said this, as much as I dislike him, he did say this: they are the slowest paced team in all of college football. They want to snap the ball with 1 second on the play clock. They want to stay in bounds. That is their MO, and that is how they shorten games in that 3rd and 4th quarter. The same way we talked about Jim Harbaugh's really good team at Michigan, and then we were like, oh, that's what Ohio State's trying to do last year. They emulated that exact same program. They're trying to do the same thing this year, just a little bit different talent as far as the running back's concerned.
And that actually leads me perfectly into some of these bonus stats and comparison between the two teams. Is you talk about going slow and holding onto the ball and time of possession. They rank 3rd in the country with a total of 406 minutes. It's about 30 minutes a game. You compare that to IU. IU surprisingly is 7th in the country at just 3 less minutes over the entire season, 403 minutes of possession. So yeah, they're slow, and I 100% agree with Klatt on that. There were some things he said during the broadcast that took a big exception to, but we'll leave that where it was. But we'll look at a couple other things, right? So let's look at 3rd down percentage. They're number 1 in the country after the Michigan game. Number 1 in the country at 57%. IU, number 2 in the country at 57%, if you round up. They are better to IU comparatively by 0.003%. Like, that's, 0.03%, I guess you would say. Completion percentage. Sayan's number 1. IU as a team, number 4 at 78% for Ohio State, 72% for IU. Red zone efficiency, this is where you're going to see the biggest gap as far as these bonus stats go. Because if you go and look at any of these offensive stats on the NCAA site, it's almost like you see IU and Ohio State right there on the same page every single time. The only one you really had to scroll down for was red zone efficiency. Now, both teams have been to the red zone over 60 times. Ohio State 62 times, IU 61. Ohio State ranks 30th in the country at 90% score rate inside the red zone. So in the red area, this is something that Coach Sig talked about on Monday, is more for us about being able to finish there. They've got 43 touchdowns, 13 field goals on 62 attempts. So it's 50. Seth math, it's 56 out of 62. IU, on the other hand, 58 out of 61, ranks 17th in the country. It's 92%. Not a big gap there. There's a big gap in ranking numbers, right? But not a big gap in the amount of attempts, the amount of touchdowns. Now, the difference is IU scored 5 more touchdowns on 1 less attempt, which could end up, in this game especially, could be a massive, massive difference. Anything else you guys want to talk about that before we dive into the actual players and all that stuff across the positions?
I mean, I think Indiana, and it sounds insane, and I'm hesitant to say it, but I'm going to say it. I do think on paper and on the field, IU has had the better offense. True or false, Seth? IU has the better offense.
True.
Now, let's expand that a little bit more, Bragg. Give me either IU, Ohio State, or push at position groups. Quarterback.
IU.
Running back.
Push.
Push, yeah.
Really? I would say IU. I'll call them outside skill positions, wide receivers, tight ends,
OSU.
Oh yeah, Ohio State.
offensive line.
Push.
Really, I would say Ohio State. So in my mind, it seems even when you break it down that way. Shanahan or Hartline?
Shanahan. Well,
I don't know.
that's hard. That's hard for me because, again, you have to look at the amount of 5-star absolute monster athletes that Ohio State has, and how easy it has to be for Brian Hartline to just say, okay, well, we're just going to run a 45-yard post with Jeremiah
Right.
Smith
Hartline
and
has
just
the
throw it
easier
up there,
job. Yes.
right? I don't watch enough Ohio State to have a definite answer on that. I do know that we've been upset with Shanahan a few times this season in certain situations, and I don't know if Ohio State's had to deal with that or not.
Okay. Last question. Then we can get into the players. Do we see a trick play from either team?
My thought is yes, and it's from Ohio State.
My thought
Just because Ryan Day came out and said something not necessarily about trick plays, but about how they have not really opened up the playbook all season.
I'd say no.
Okay. You guys are wrong. So, all right. All right. Well, let's get into it. So my overall thought on the offense in general, is this the best offense of Ohio State of all time? No, not at all. Is it great? Yeah, it's going to be, in my opinion. Quarterback is still young. He's pretty good. He's not Nando, but he's pretty good. Redshirt freshman, his first full season of playing collegiately, 6'1", 205. He's got a stupid haircut. He's thrown for just a smidge over 3,000 yards, 3,065 total. He is unbelievable at his completion percentage. Again, is that because of him or because he has just top of the line athletes everywhere?
His NFL receivers.
Yeah.
Yes, and NFL tight end that transferred from Purdue.
Tradition.
So he throws the ball at 79%, 78.9 to be exact, which is number one in the country. He's got 30 touchdowns through the throwing and 5 interceptions. Sounds familiar, right? Because Nando's got the exact same thing except 6 interceptions. He's number one in completion percentage. He's number one in passing efficiency. Who's number 2, guys? Passing efficiency.
The Mandalorian.
Yes, the Mandalorian. The Heis Mendoza at number 2. What are your thoughts on Julian Sayin? You guys have watched more Julian Sayin than me. I've only seen him play in the snow, and I was
the most impressive thing for me, and I think this speaks to his completion percentages. He moves in the pocket very well. He mechanically and fundamentally he is a great quarterback. He knows how to throw in windows. With the caveat being there's pretty nice windows that offensive line and wide receivers create. But he does do that pretty well. The thing that cracks me up, and this has nothing to do with Julian Sayin, this is kind of, I don't want to rip the Indiana fan base. They're just like, well, Alberto's 6'2". He's not tall enough. I think Julian Sayin shows that you can play quarterback at a high level, not being 6'5", and it's playing exactly how Julian Sayin plays, which it's slide to the right, slide to the left, slide up in the pocket. That's what Julian Sayin does really well. Julian Sayin's not very athletic. He's not very tall. He's not very big, but he plays quarterback fundamentally and mechanically very well. To me, that shows that he's pretty much at his ceiling, right? He can probably throw the ball a little bit harder, but there isn't too much to work on Julian Sayin's overall game. But again, I mean, he's impressive quarterback, and I think he's, the odds-on favorite shoe-in for Heisman 2026.
So the guy he reminds me of is Drew Brees. Drew Brees might be 5'11", 6 foot, but very similar, very smart, very fundamentally sound, can still make all the throws despite lack of size. I'm going to combine, I agree with everything Brandon said. I'm going to combine it with something, Bragg, you said earlier. It's the way they use the pass to set up the pass. That sounds so stupid.
It does.
You're an idiot, Bragg. How dumb of you. But they do.
I didn't say that. Brandon said that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I just wanted to be mean to Bragg. So Brandon, you idiot. But here's the thing: is they use the horizontal passing game to set up the vertical passing game, and they have the players to do it. And so that's why you see that inflated completion percentage is because it's so many of those is horizontal. So many of those is a 5-yard out. It's a 3-yard stop. It's a bubble screen. It's a jailbreak screen. They have all of those kinds of small underlying concepts, and it's all to set up second down and short, third down and shorter. And then when you're in those second and short, you're in the third and shorter situations. What's so good in those spots? Some play action pass, because you expect them just to run the ball right down your freaking throat. And instead, here comes a tight end slopping out in the backfield. Here's a 5-star, 6'2", 225-pound yoked ass, wide receiver running open on a post route. And that's why his completion percentage is so high, is they put him in really advantageous positions to go ahead and make those deep down the field throws. They love between the 40s to make some kind of deep downfield threat. Just watch the game. You will see when they get in the mid 40s, they will eventually take some kind of shot downfield, more than likely on some kind of play action or some kind of pump and go where they're trying to fake a bubble screen and then hit somebody deep on the backside. They have all the plays. They have all the athletes. And Julian Sain is really benefiting from a great combination of skill players around him and Brian Hartline, I guess, calling really, really good games.
So I was going to wait to the defense to talk about this, Seth, but it makes total sense to talk about it now. Exactly in that between 40 to 40, between the 35 and 35, what they do is they overload a zone very well. They'll send 2 receivers on the same side. One will take a post in the inside, one will take a go, and the safety has to choose.
Yep.
You have to communicate in the secondary very, very well. Who is taking the middle? Who is taking the boundary? Now, that's why Brian Haynes gets paid a lot of money to figure that out, but that terrifies me. We've seen break-in zones many times this year, and it's hard for me to envision that not happening at least once.
Or even if you're in man coverage, the pick routes, or making sure that you're switching at the right time to make sure you're maintaining.
I think you have to
coverage.
Go zone, because you can't put anyone on an island with
I agree.
Their wide receivers.
I agree.
You have to go zone. But they do these overloading zones so well that conceptually it is great. And it's the safety's call, right? So again, I'll put our safeties up to anyone. But we have seen them have blunders. So they're going to have, I'm not going to waste this Brando Rando, but again, I think safety play is one of the most important positions, offensive or defensively, the entire time, for exact reasons what you're saying. Exact same.
So to add to what Seth was saying, but because he just rambled, but talking about using that short passing game, that crossing game to set up that deep shot. If you go back, I mean, it was the first play they didn't double team Jeremiah Smith, and he shook that defender on a double move, 1-on-1, out of his boots. Like, they showed his face after Smith caught the ball in the end zone, and he looked like somebody, like he had seen a ghost. That's what he looked like. The shock on his face was unbelievable. And that's something that I'm sure of it, that Brian Haynes and Coach Signetti are going to put into the play calling. I mean, you have to find that perfect level of getting enough pressure on a quote unquote inexperienced quarterback and making sure that they cannot hurt you.
But also zone takes away the pick plays, the screen passes. Zone plays a lot better on horizontal routes than man coverage does. Because man, you're typically playing off a little bit more. You're back farther from the line of scrimmage. You can really feast on short routes in man. I would be shocked if we see any man coverage. I expect Indiana to be in zone the entire game. That's what I would do. But they're going to get to the middle of the field, and they're gonna run those zone breakers. They just are, and it's up to our safeties to play it well.
Yeah, it could be a big Max Klein game. I mean, if that's the way they want to do it, that's what I mean, because we're the focus on the wide receivers is gonna be crazy. But we'll save that for the defensive side. Let's talk their backs real quick. I did not include James Peoples. Is it James Peoples, Seth? Is that correct? One of their running backs, I think, but Peoples. I didn't include him because he's kind of tapered off as the season's gone on. He may be injured. I did not look that up, but basically the two guys that I saw a lot versus Michigan, obviously Bo Jackson, and then the West Virginia transfer, CJ Donaldson. I really like CJ Donaldson. I like the way that he plays football. I think that he's not going to blow anybody away with his stats when I read them off here in a minute, but I think he's got NFL potential to be a pretty good back. But Bo Jackson's an absolute stud, a true freshman. He's the quote unquote right smaller back, speed back. He's 6 foot at running back. He looks tiny compared to CJ Donaldson, but he's incredible on the season. Now, it goes back to what Brandon talked about how they use the pass to set up the pass, right? They don't run the ball as much as they should be running the ball. So I wanted to bring this up. On the season, Bo Jackson averages 6.2 yards per carry. He's only carried the ball 151 times. He's got nearly 1,000 yards. He'll get there by the end of the season, and 5 touchdowns. So you compare that to Indiana. Again, Bo Jackson's only carried the ball 151 times. Roman Hamby, 163. K'Wan Black, 127. So that just shows, I mean, and then obviously you've got Kobe Martin at 69, which is fairly comparable to what Peoples is at. So we're out rushing attempt-wise by, I don't know, I don't want to do the math off the top of my head. We have a math guy, but it's probably too much right now, but about 100 times. Like we've rushed more than anywhere between 80 to 100 times more than they have on the season.
I mean, just easy math is that's 10 times. That's 10 more rushes a game.
Yes,
I will look that up, but it is James Peoples and it is Isaiah West, and Ohio State has ran the ball 425 times on this season.
Okay,
and
IU 490.
Okay, so was it 65?
Yeah, so 65. So I was off 80
so
to 100.
five more per game.
Yeah, I was just kind of comparing. I was just kind of comparing the main backs, right, more than the total season of rushing. But yeah, that gets the point across. But yeah, Bo Jackson, if you guys haven't watched him, he's going to be a really good running back when they decide to actually use him. And again, they're going to change it up a little bit with CJ Donaldson, a taller back. He's got 10 touchdowns on the season, but a much lower average per carry at 3.7. Do either one of these two guys scare you? Do you think that they'll be a major player in this game? What are your thoughts on the running backs before we skip by the wide receivers? We don't even need to talk about it, but
man, I don't know. I mean, I can't even answer my own question on whether I think they're going to change up their philosophy. I think they don't. I think the running backs become a focus in the red zone. I think we've seen that a lot. I think if people have bet Bo Jackson anytime touchdown, they have done very well this year. But no, I think Ohio State stays true to they are. And I think, especially this being in a dome, I think they ran the ball a lot last week because frankly they had to. I think this being in the dome, no, I don't think when we're sitting here recapping the game, we're talking about the impact Ohio State running backs had on the outcome. And
again, that's trying to rush against the number 2 defense against the run in the country.
Correct.
It's averaging 79 yards a game. Seth, do you have any opinions on that?
No, I mean, they're really good. They're really good running backs. I don't think that they are necessarily the type of players who can take over a game and put the entire team on their back yet. But I think they're 4 different guys who can all affect the game situationally and really put pressure on the team in different ways. So it'll be tough. And I don't think they change up what they're doing. I don't think Ryan Day really is the type of guy who's going to deviate from the script too much. So I expect a lot more of the same.
Yeah, not unless they reprogram him before the game. All right, so let's move. As I said, we're going to skip by it. I mean, I'm sure you guys want to talk about him. but everybody knows about their wide receivers, right? The big three: Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Innes, and then you've got the tight end transfer from Purdue, Max Klein,
Claire,
sorry, who's been crazy. I even wrote Klein on the thing. I even know his name's
Ryan
Max
Klein still lives in your head.
So
Colin Klein just became Kansas State's coach.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's why I did it.
Mhm.
But I don't want to spend time here. They're incredible. They're going to be a massive part in this game. I was very bad for me to say, but hoping that maybe one of them slipped and turned the wrong way in the snow last weekend. But yeah, they're just absolute athletes. Jeremiah Smith. So what did you say? Who's the front runner for the Heisman next year? You think it's Sayin? I mean, it might just be Smith's a true sophomore, right? So, I mean, hell, he might as well put his name on there too. Carnell Tate's a first-round draft pick. Brandon Innes is a draft pick if he's eligible. Max Claire may be a first or second-round draft. Max Claire almost did it again. Max Claire is probably a day one or day two draft pick. I mean, they're just so talented in the skill positions. Go ahead.
This is not just the best group of pass catchers that IU has faced all season. This is the best position group IU has faced all season.
Okay. I think Iowa offensive line are like a word, but other than that, that's not comparable.
So we have not faced, we as in the Indiana defense, has not faced a unit like this. Agreed.
But we did last year, like literally played these exact players last year.
Sure.
Yes.
I can't name a wide receiver under Bryant Haynes that took over the game.
I'm trying to think.
Think of Oregon last year. Not the same. Again,
Oregon this year.
Or Oregon this year. I mean, people were lauding the Illinois receivers. You know,
they had one catch deep, and then they did nothing else the rest of the game.
I just, again, my only question here is, do they scheme up? Because we know Indiana does not move our corners. We don't, especially since we're going to play
Pons
zone.
is always on the short side. Yeah,
correct. So, do they scheme away from Pons?
So you scheme away from Pons.
They do put Tate and Smith on the same side a lot.
Which is fine. And I'll explain why, because I learned a lot about this over the last week or so. So you put Pons on the short side. You put him on the short side for a reason, right? And if there's somebody over there for him to guard, if there's not, they're going to move him to the other side of the field. But if he's on the short side of the field, they do that for a reason. And you guys can play stupid if you want, but do you know why they do that? Because they can leave him alone. They don't need help over the top with Pons. They don't need somebody over there with him. So they focus on the whole thing about that you said earlier about they want to attack that zone. They want to overload a zone. Go ahead and overload the zone, because we're doing the exact same thing on, like, that's just our scheme. We always overload the heavy side of the field. Now, if they bring somebody over to the heavy side of the field and Pons has nobody on the short side of the field, then maybe we're looking at a different story. Maybe they can bring Claire off the line on that one and then tear us up against the linebacker. But yeah, I don't. It's gonna be a hell of a matchup, dude. Like the brains are incredible that are coaching.
I know we always like to talk about play on the field. The chess match.
Yeah, so it's just going to be. I think we're just going to have to see it, right? We're just going to have to see it and see what their actual game plan is going to be, because it's right now. You could look at 100 different times. Yes.
Yes, the chess match in the booth is going to be all time.
Yeah. And, there's one thing that we've lauded Coach Signetti and his coaches for since last season, where maybe we got exposed in the first half on certain schemes, and they've been so great at making halftime adjustments, and that may be another thing that they have to do on Saturday. So, all right, let's move on. Offensive line. Here's what I wrote. I wrote this. Imagine Oregon and Iowa, like their offensive lines, right? But better. Number 2 in the country in sacks allowed. They allow half a sack per game. You can't do that. you can't get 1/2 of a sack in a game. 2 players can, but not 1 player. And they also are number 4 in the country in tackles for loss allowed at about 3.3. Sounds like a lot. It's not when you break it down. Now, Brandon, I know this. We talked about this earlier, and maybe you've got a randos for it, but we've seen these stats from the 2 offensive lines I named previously, Oregon and Iowa. Iowa ranked what? Number 1 in PFF individual ranks across their line, except for 1 player who ranked number 2. And we did a pretty good job against their offensive line. Oregon, absolutely like studs all the way across the board. Blew them apart. Is that possible with this offensive line? Okay.
Yes. Now, how much of it, I hate saying to Seth's point, is when they play a horizontal pass game, that ball's out in a second or 2. You're just not going to have a ton of sacks when you're scheming up getting the ball out quickly. So again, how much is it the offensive line? I think, again, they want to take deep shots. That is when we have to get home. I don't think IU has a ton of sacks this game. All they need are 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because how many shots is Ohio State going to take? A handful? 3? Seth's saying 3 to 5. If we can get home for 50% of those, that changes the game. So, no, I don't think you have a vintage IU game where we got 5 or 6 sacks. I think 2 or 3 sacks situationally makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily think just a sack, right? If we can just get pressure and make him make those quicker decisions, as opposed to, again, like his head coach, just being programmed to have wide open receivers 1.5 seconds into his drop back. Like that's going to be a big thing. And you've said it, and I'm surprised you haven't said it yet, is when you've got, and granted, he's got a full season under his belt now. When you've got a freshman quarterback and you can get into their head, they turn into mush, right? I mean, look at Dante Moore, look at what we did to Nico sucks, but look at Nico, right? And then he's way better than Nico, but
Dylan last year.
Moore, Dylan last year, exactly. So, yeah. So let's move on from the offense, unless you guys want to talk anything else. Then we'll get into the defense real quick. We're already an hour into this. We joked and said it'd be a 2-hour pod, but it might actually be. We'll see. All right. Defense. It's just absolutely elite defense across the board. And I'm going to be so interested to see what your guys' predictions are score-wise, because if anybody scores a point, like it may be a shock to both defenses. Number 1 in the country for Ohio State in total defense. Number 1 in scoring at it's 7 something, but I rounded up to 8 to make me feel a little bit better. Number 4 against the run, and number 1 against the pass. I put 2 asterisks next to number 1 against the pass, and I'll get to that here in just a minute. Again, 1-1-4-1. And you look at IU, 4th total offense, 2nd against the scoring, 2nd against the run, 14th against the pass. Again, I think some of that goes into our 50-point blowout games, right? So you're playing a lot of prevent defense late. You're playing a lot of second, third string defense late, where maybe you're giving up some of those passing yards. I know Purdue moved the ball a little bit late in the game even. So let's look at some bonus stats, and then we'll get right through it, and then we'll sit back and let you guys talk for a second. But third down defense, they're really good. So are we, right? They're 3rd in the country. They only allow 27.5% conversion rate on third downs. We're 4th. We only allow 27.7%. Red zone defense is a big glaring difference between the teams. So they're number one in the country. I hinted at this earlier against Washington where they just stuffed them. They only allow scores on 65%. IU, 61st. We've allowed scores on 83% of those trips. Now, here's a fun fact. Both of these teams have allowed 20 or less trips into the red zone all season. Ohio State has allowed 20. They've given up 7 touchdowns and 6 field goals. IU, 18. They've given up 5 touchdowns and 10 field goals. Now, that's a big difference. When you say 83% of the time on 18 trips and you're thinking majority touchdowns, that's a lot of points. But when you're only giving up 5 touchdowns and 10 field goals, especially like you go back and look at it last week against Purdue, what'd you guys get down to, the 3-yard line, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't score from there. Stop that drive. Totally different team we're talking about, by the way. But those are wins, and they don't translate into that red zone percentage. One other stat, and then I'm going to sit back and let you guys talk for a second. And I'm going to get to the defensive passing allowance too. But turnover margin. And I was surprised by this. IU ranks number 1 in the country at plus 17. We know this. Ohio State, for having an incredibly elite defense, and I'd like to get your perspective on this too when you guys sit back and talk for a minute. They're 35th in the country at plus 5. They don't force a lot of turnovers. I forgot to write this down, but I think they've got like 6 interceptions and like 5 or 6 fumble recoveries, right? They don't do that a lot. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen on Saturday, but comparatively, it's a big number difference in overall turnovers. I want to back up just a little bit and talk about their passing defense. Because, again, you go back through their schedule and you look at who they've played. Texas, Grambling, Ohio, Washington, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, Michigan. I would like for you guys to tell me, out of those teams, how many of those quarterbacks will make it and be possibly successful in the NFL? 1.
Washington's quarterback, that's it.
I was going to go for Manning just because of he's just going to get the
I was talking Big Ten player.
Last name. Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously Arch Manning.
Yes. So the best quarterbacks they played all season, Arch Manning, he went 17 of 30, 170 yards. Luke Altmaier is their second best quarterback that they've played all season, rating-wise. He was pretty good. 30 of 44, 248 yards. I think he had a touchdown and a pick. How much does the schedule play into their pass defense? And then you guys, I'm going to open it up for a few minutes for you guys to just go off on some of these rankings. Answer my question, go off.
I think it has step back. I think it benefits both teams, right? I think Indiana has played better offenses this year. I do. I think Ohio State's played tougher defenses this year, right?
Yeah.
Is Indiana's offense a little inflated because of the poor defenses Indiana's went against? Sure. Yes, absolutely. Is Ohio State's defense numbers inflated a little bit because of the poor offenses? Yes. So again, their defense is the best defense we will go against. Yes. Is that going to be a shock because we played some dog shit defenses? Yes. I don't think that takes away from any of the units. But yes, there's obviously inflation to both teams.
I hate that you took the wind completely out of my sail, as I was going to go the exact same argument, is that these numbers are deflated. It's the players themselves are elite. Do not get me wrong. The talent is there, but the stats are deflated because, as we talked about before, time of possession, they dominate the time of possession. So the defense isn't on the field very much. So it's hard to give up a ton of yards when you're not on the field very much. And then when they have such a big lead that the offense is playing in desperation mode. So they're going to be throwing more risky passes. They're going to be more likely to throw interceptions. And then they're also in the red zone as well. They're more likely going to go for touchdowns rather than field goals because a field goal doesn't mean anything when you're down 30 points. So I think some of these numbers are a little misleading. The talent is not misleading, but some of those numbers are definitely made to look a little bit more superior than they truly are.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. And that's something, and you guys know that I don't necessarily believe in transitive properties and saying, oh, well, I just throw out a scenario. Oh, well, we beat Purdue, but Purdue beat, Wisconsin, and Wisconsin beat Ohio State. So therefore,
why were we kicking field goals down at the end? Sorry.
Yes, you guys, were you yelling that during the game?
Yes. Why are we kicking field goals?
It was wild. I was happy you guys did, though, because the last thing I needed was a 7-7. But yeah, I agree with you. Let's talk about their players, okay? Because Jesus, there's a first round draft pick on each level, multiple probably. So let's look at it real quick. As I said, they don't force a bunch of turnovers. They're 95th in the country. And why did I write 30? Okay, so they're 95th in 13 total turnovers. That's what they've got. 7 interceptions and 6 fumble recoveries. You look at IU, they're 8th, 24 total, 16 interceptions, 8 fumble recoveries. It all starts up front, the defensive line, the kid from Indiana, Caden Curry. Your name has to be Caden or some sort of version of Caden or cadence, right? To play for their defensive line, apparently, because the 3 best guys up there, Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson, and Caden McDonald, all spelled differently. Well, obviously Kenyatta spelled differently, but Caden and Caden spelled differently. Caden Curry, Center Grove, is that right? Is that where he's from?
Yes.
Center Grove product. Tom Allen, thanks a lot for letting that one get out of the state. 13th in the country in sacks. He's got 9 total. He averages almost 1 per game. So they get a lot of pressure. He's an absolute stud. First team All Big Ten from what I saw. He'll be, what do you think draft pick wise? Day 1, day 2?
Day 2.
Day 2. Kenyatta Jackson on the other side, not too bad himself. 5.5 sacks there too. And then interior, Caden McDonald, big guy inside, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Again, not going to give you a ton of tackle stats on these guys. They're good. That's not even the best part of their defense. I think the best part of their defense is arguably either the linebackers or the defensive backs, but I've got a lot of holes to poke in the defensive backfield, and I can't wait to get there. The linebackers are ridiculous. Sonny Styles is incredible, right? Team leader in tackles. He's got 69. Nice. 1 interception, 1 forced fumble. He's all over the field, and he's not even the best of the 2. Arvell Reese, this is a potential number 1 overall draft pick. 61 tackles, which is second on the team, 6.5 sacks, second on the team, 2 fast passes defended. Again, he's not going to jump out and get you a bunch of forced fumbles or fumble recoveries or any of that stuff, but the guy is an absolute football player. He's going to get a lot of pressures on the quarterback. He's all over the field. He's fast. He's big. He's physical. He's a stud, right? And then we'll go through the DBs real quick, and then again, I'll sit back and let you guys talk about them real quick. Probably the best overall, if not overall offense and defensive player in the country, but definitely probably the best overall defensive player in the country is in their backfield. And his brother plays in the same stadium they're going to be playing in on Saturday. Caleb Downs, the safety, is since I saw him play at Alabama as a freshman, he's been somebody that always jumps off the screen. The guy can play linebacker, he can play defensive end, he can play true safety, he can match up one-on-one with the receiver. He's incredible. Now, the part that kind of will jump out stat-wise is he does have the team lead or tied with the team lead with interceptions with 2, but it goes back to what I told you guys about not forcing many turnovers to begin with. So there's that. He's got a guy next to him he's okay too. He's not somebody we need to sit down and have a whole chat about, but the 2 guys on the outside, Davison Igbinosun and Jermaine Matthews are the 2 guys that are going to line up on the outside. Matthews is the guy that's tied with Downs for interception total at 5. The guy I want to talk about, Brandon, and I'm interested to see how much you've watched David Igbinosun. I wrote down DI, just his initials, and then it came to me as I was writing it out. Is it his initials or is it a nickname? Because He was the number 1 most penalized cornerback in the country last year.
We focused on this so much last.
Oh yeah,
preview for last year. Yeah,
and he ate us up, I think. But he had like 16 pass interference calls. And if you go back and watch that Michigan game, they only went after him like once or twice.
Well, it's because the quarterback can't throw.
Was terrible, yes. And the one time that they tried to go to McCauley down the sideline, pass interference. I mean, it wasn't even close. The guy's grabbing all over him, trying to tackle him. Ball's still in the air. He's not a good deep ball defender. So if we can get a good matchup with Cooper, with Surratt, with Becker, somebody to get a back shoulder throw, he will interfere. And it will happen at some point during this game. If there's a way you can put a prop bet on that, bet the house, because he's going to get a flag thrown on him. All right, I'm going to sit back. You guys talk these players. You guys have watched more Ohio State than me. They're very good. Tell me why. What do they do?
So I agree with you there. If we're going to have an advantage, it's going to be at the defensive line. Again, it's the number 1 defense in the country, so take that with a grain of salt. But if your biggest worry is their defensive line crushing our offensive line, again, I think the Oregon defensive line was better. I'd be hard pressed to say the Penn State line was any worse than this defensive line. All 3 are elite, right? I mean, again, not down talking Ohio State's line, but yeah, they're Sonny Styles, and Arvell Reese is a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, and Sonny Styles is a high day 2, maybe a day 1. You just don't see that many linebackers go in the first round. But Arvell Reese, he was getting some Heisman buzz for a while there. Their linebackers are incredible. Caleb Downs, again, likely top 5 NFL pick. Again, he does what Pons does for us. He shuts an entire portion of the offensive options down immediately, pun intended. So where do I think Indiana can exploit this defense? One, I think it's up the middle, right? I think it's, as Seth has been saying, Ohio State wants to get into the second and advantageous, third and advantageous. I think you can do that by leaning on Kaelon Black, Kobe Martin. I think you can do that between the tackles with the right players. But again, you put it in the outline, Bragg, and I thought you were going to say it. I'm trying to remember what game it was last year, and I couldn't remember it. Remember when Rourke just threw it to Surratt? Was it the Ohio State game on the first drive where he just threw it back shoulder like 3 times in one drive? If it wasn't the Ohio State game, it was another game. Maybe the Nebraska. Again, I don't remember. IU has not went to that back shoulder as much this year as they have in the past. That's exactly what they should do, is run out routes, run dig routes, run back shoulder routes. Take Caleb Downs out. Caleb Downs can't do anything on those routes. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese can't do anything on those routes. You have to take their playmakers away, right? The old Bill Belichick, take away the best player, and that's how you win. I think you're going to have to try to scheme it at the defensive line and at the boundary, because that second level and third level of Ohio State is unpenetrable. Absolutely unpenetrable. You're not going to be able to throw it against those two. You're not going to be able to get second level runs. You're not going to be able to throw it across the middle. It's just, you're going to have to find different ways to move the ball. And in my mind, it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust and back shoulder throws.
I think you make some good points there. I think the thing the thing I said up top, and the thing that I think is going to be consistent to this, is I have probably a first round grade on 5 of these players. Like you said, I think Sonny Styles is the tweener, just because off-ball linebackers typically, unless you're Arvell Reese and you have some kind of just athletic freakazoid in you, it just doesn't happen very often. But they probably have 5. I think Kenyatta Jackson is a guy who can eat up a lot of space, set an edge. I do think that running the ball, the gash is the best way you can really do it. Is you got to be
Gash.
you got to do exactly what you've been doing all season. You got to be doing exactly what Ohio State is trying to do against you. I think that we're going to talk about the similarities to these two teams. I think that the same way that we think that Ohio State is going to try to beat Indiana's defense is the same way Indiana's offense is going to have to beat Ohio State's defenses. You have to move them around. You have to do window dressing. You have to make them think in space. You have to isolate key players, and you have to take players out of the game who can be game wreckers. If, for instance, Caden Curry, we think, is going to have a sack this game, there has to be some kind of way to give him an extra attention, whether it's, putting a tight end and chipping, whether it's making sure the running back always goes to his side. I'm not saying that he's the one we have to isolate, but I'm just saying if that's the case, you have to scheme towards that player. Same way, if you're going to be having linebackers, you're able to get wide receivers on linebackers, it's a hell of a lot better to have them going on an out-breaking route than it is an in-breaking route where you're going back into bigger players. So it's just how you scheme that up, how you identify what their weaknesses potentially are, although it is very, few and far between. And then it is getting in same ideas, getting in second and short and third and shorter, so that you can then use a play action pass. So it's not just a drop back game. It is that window dressing. It is kind of, three phasing the, those really short behind the line of scrimmage passes, those medium crossing routes and stop routes, and then those back shoulder fades and deep routes. So with the emergence of Charlie Becker, with all these different options now available to this team, you really think that it'll be harder for Ohio State to focus on taking away all of the options that IU has to offer offensively.
Yeah. It's going to be a heck of an upfield battle. Let's do one more thing, and then we're going to take a break. I found some stuff. I did some digging. I did a lot of digging, and Brandon actually told me, and I don't believe him, but that I did a good job on the outline. And one of the things that I did that I have not done before was I dug into a lot of different stats, everything from FPI to strength of record to offensive, defensive, and special teams efficiencies, game control. I cannot get over how identical these two teams are. And this goes into my whole thing that I talked about at the beginning of the podcast was last year felt, as I said, almost imposter syndrome, right? We played one big team and I felt like we got smoked, right? It felt like almost like old IU was out there trying to compete with that team. That's not how this should feel on Saturday, and I'll explain why, right? FPI, Ohio State 1, IU 2. Strength of record, which, if those that don't know, that reflects the chance that an average top 25 team would have a team's record or better given the schedule, right? IU number 1, Ohio State number 2. AP ranks, obviously, number 1, number 2. Strength of schedule, Ohio State 46, IU 45. Remaining strength of schedule, and you guys need to figure this out for me. I don't understand it. IU has the number 2 remaining strength of schedule, and Ohio State has the number 1 remaining strength of schedule. I feel like that needs to be flip-flopped. It is what it is. You guys talked a lot about game control, like legitimate game control and holding onto the ball and not, running slow and doing all this other stuff. Well, they have a rank for that. It's called game control rank, and it reflects the chance that an average top 25 team would control games from start to the end the way that this team did given the schedule. IU ranks number 1, Ohio State number 4. Overall efficiency, Ohio State number 2, IU number 1. Offensive efficiency, Ohio State number 4, IU number 5. That's tough. D-efficiency. Let's just do that one. Ohio State number 2, IU number 3, and then you look at special teams, and I tried to find a massive gap there, and I couldn't figure this one out. Ohio State number 128, and IU 12. So, I mean, honestly, any way you look at it, these uneducated Ohio State fans will tell you how much better that they are than IU. But you could show them this, but they wouldn't understand what these are. So you'll just have to like draw in crayon or something and explain it to them that way. But do you guys have anything else you want to add on that? Any of those stand out? I thought game control for IU being number one. I guess it makes sense when you blow a bunch of people out. But other than that, I thought everything looked pretty straightforward. Other than the strength, the remaining strength
of schedule, I think makes sense when again, I think they had similar schedules, just different teams had different strengths. The remaining schedule, I can't make a whole lot of sense of that unless they're looking at strength of record. Does your schedule strength depend on the strength of record of the team on your schedule? Again, it's a freaking limerick. But it is I mean these are the same team. Again, if I love doing blind tests, if we put this out and we white outed the team and said who
done that. Oh, I should have done that.
And that who was who, I guess it'd be 50%. Nobody could definitively say which team is which team. That's how even this is when you look at it on paper. It's amazing.
I would disagree. I would say it's probably 85% would think that that Indiana is Ohio State because of special teams. They would probably think that Ohio State has a great special team rating, of course, because Ohio State has a great everything. And they would think that that'd probably be the one differentiator between Indiana and Ohio State.
Because that's was the
one I was going to say. Yes, it was. And that's exactly what Coach Seg said on Monday. It's exactly what he said. Did you listen to the press conference? I didn't even ask you.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, that was a massive, massive difference last season. So, all right, let's take a break for a second. And then we're going to run through this. Brandon's about to fall asleep. Seth's always in somewhere else. So this episode is brought to you by your go-to expert in the Indiana real estate market. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in a home right here in the heart of the Hoosier country, Garrett Lawton with True Blood Real Estate is the agent that you need. He's not just a real estate agent, he's a Hoosier fan just like you. And Garrett knows Indiana inside and out, from Bloomington to Indianapolis and everywhere in between. Plus, his personalized service makes the buying and selling process smooth and stress-free. So if you're ready to make a move, give Garrett a call at 317-410-8851 or visit his website at lawton-realty.com. Okay, we're back. And I know what you're thinking. Like, Michael, what else could we possibly need to talk about? Well, now it's time to talk. Not Tom to talk. Time to talk about IU, finally, right? IU players to watch. This is important. This is very important. Brandon, who are you watching on IU's offense against what matchup?
It's what dooms dramatic, but those that listen know it's what doomed Indiana in this game last year in its offensive line. Specifically. And I love the guy. He's been on our podcast. He's hilarious on Barstool, but Big Cat got demolished up front. Rourke, again, because of his knee, just because of his game, he had a guy in his face immediately, as soon as the ball was snapped. Pat Coogan, you've become a leader on this team. You have become a voice on this team. You need to go out there and give Nando a clean eyesight right in front of him. You need to get their Ohio State's defensive line's hand down. You need to win in the trenches. I think Lynch, Coogan, and Evans are the three most important players. And that's crazy when you put it as a whole offense. Pat Coogan, Bray Lynch, Drew Evans. The three most important players in this entire game are those three. That's what I will be watching in the quiet Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm kidding. The place is going to be so loud. The place is going to be so loud. That is what I'm going to be watching is the line of – are they – because I don't expect them to push back Ohio's defensive line. But will those three be 2 or 3 yards back, or will they be winning at the point of contact? That is what's going to determine this game. So that's what I'm going to be watching. When the ball snapped, what is happening?
So to add on that, to put into perspective for people that are maybe now expecting a perfect game, right? If we can get the Oregon pressure as compared to what happened at Iowa, then I think we're in good shape. If we can allow, because they're going to get pressure. There's no avoiding it. They're going to get there. Coogan and Evans and Lynch can play a perfect game and still give up pressures, maybe a sack.
Patricia's going to dial it up.
Yeah, he's going to end up
but they don't blitz. So that's the biggest difference between a Jim Knowles and a Matt Patricia defense is Jim Knowles, we saw it at Penn State. No issue sending pressure. Patricia really doesn't blitz. He expects his men to win at the point of attack so he can do different things on the backside of the defense. So I think Ohio State, similar to IU, couple sacks. I don't expect this to be a big sack game by either defensive line. Sorry to cut you off. I just don't think so. You said they're going to get there. I disagree. I don't think Nando is on the ground half a dozen times.
Yeah. And do we know
Evans? If he does, it's game over and they won by 30.
Yes. Do we know if Evans is going to play?
No.
Okay. Because that would be big. I love Ajani. I think he's
going
a really
with the
good player.
assumption of yes. He went through full warm-ups. He was in pads, in helmet the entire game. I'm guessing if they needed him, he would have played.
Yeah.
But he was in like emergency quarterback position. Because unlike wide receiver, quarterback, you don't really need timing at offensive line as much. Because you're by yourself, you're doing your job. Seth, correct me if I'm wrong. I've never played offense or defensive line in my life, but I feel like it's less timing routes. It's less chemistry, less reliance. Would you agree? Disagree?
Yes and no. It is a choreographed ballet, though. It is synchronized swimming on grass. So it is, there is the ability to trust that you can pass off a blocker, or sorry, not a blocker, a rusher. But
I think that's what walkthroughs are through, right?
Right. I was going to say, but that's easier to build. It's a lot quicker than it is for a wide receiver and a quarterback, or even a running back trying to catch, sideways passes out of a backfield. Yeah. That takes a lot more time to establish. So yeah, I think there's some good points there. I hate that you stole my thunder again, because this is exactly where I was going. It was the two biggest important things are Drew Evans and Khalil Benson, because if I'm Ohio State, whether they're 100% healthy or not, I think Khalil Benson is probably the weakest spot on that right tackle position. And so I'm probably going to be scheming up ways to put him in positions of peril. I'm trying to scheme up ways to figure out, put him in a blender, or where you have to help him out. Or if he's not healthy, where you expose him for not being healthy and punish him for only being 75%. Because this is not a game for the weak. This is not a game where it's like, oh, he's not 100% healthy, let's take it easy on him. They're going to exploit him. But it is really nice that Ajani and Zen have had a lot of game action. They know what to expect. So whether it's left guard, whether it's right tackle, whichever that position needs to have some attention for, and especially Zen coming from Ohio State, you have to think that he knows what Ohio State's trying to do, so he might be able to help the defense trying to scheme. So there's just so many different ways, so many different facets to how the offensive line gameplay is going to be absolutely fascinating. And that's such a nerdy, stupid thing to say, because there's number one draft picks all over the place, defensively, offensively, for Ohio State. And we're talking about the fourth and fifth offensive linemen for Indiana being, potential game breakers.
Yep. Did you pick your sorry to step away for a second. Did you pick your player to watch?
Yeah, I did. Whoever's playing left guard and right tackle.
I like that.
Just take the tackles, right? I mean, that wasn't a huge area of focus, but I mean, yeah, Benson. I mean, you picked Benson.
Yeah. Now he did not play against Purdue, correct?
Right.
Okay. So do we think
I think they're both back. I think they both try to play.
All right. I'm gonna go. Man, Nando's the obvious one. I'm gonna go with what we do best and what we've done best all season, and that's run the football. And if we can run the football against this team, we can control the clock. We can keep Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, the two running backs off the field. I honestly think we can win the game. And by what we do best is short third downs, conversion. Short third downs, conversion. Brandon talks almost every single week about what I leave off the outline in a recap is first downs and third down conversions. And if we can win those two categories, we got a really good shot at beating this team. So in general, I'll just go all three backs, but mainly Hemby. I think Hemby in general over his career is averaged just a smidge under 4 yards a carry. Now, granted, he played for just an absolute dog shit offensive line at Maryland. So we'll see how that translates with a decent offensive line. So Seth, tell me your defensive player you're going to watch. Sorry, I thought Brandon was leaving for a second. Brandon, tell me your defensive player.
Yeah, I've made it an emphasis. So I have safeties as one. So I'm going to go Jamari Sharp. We've seen what a good Jamari Sharp looks like. We've seen what a bad Jamari Sharp looks like. We know Pons is going to show up. I've already talked about the emphasis on the safeties. If good Jamari Sharp can come out and be a sure tackler, which he's been a great tackler, he's been a poor tackler. If he can come out and play without penalties, we saw that both in the Oregon game, both good and bad. If he can come out and put up good tape, it is hard to see in a low possession game, because we know we're going to get that. Bragg said it in the time of possession and the control, how Ohio State scores a ton of points if our four core secondary players are playing at a really high level. So I'm going to be watching. I'm not going to watch Pons. I'm going to watch on what other side Pons isn't on. And that will likely be Jamari Sharp.
And that will be just a fun fact. That will be the 10th best player in the country at forcing fumbles, tied for 6th in the country, with 4 on the season. Jamari Sharp.
I will also pump fake the safeties because that's, I think, the obvious choice. But I ended up pivoting to Elijah Hardy because I think
such a monster.
I think that what he does as an off-ball weak side linebacker and sometimes getting on the ball line of scrimmage, the way that he's multifaceted, if he is able to stay with Max Clare, limit him in that middle game, it limits the big plays downfield. If he holds up in the run game as well, and he's able to set the edge, turn things back inside, you feel a lot better about the defense holding up against the run. So I think he ends up being a very pivotal player in being able to stop multiple different facets of Ohio State's game and what they're trying to do. So as you see crossers, he's got to get a body on them. If there's guys leaking out, he has to identify it and stick with them. He's going to be a guy that they're going to put in positions where he's going to have to make a decision, and he has to make the right one time after time to a point where it's almost boring.
Yeah. And if you want to talk somebody that's made right decisions over the last 8 games of the season, that's number 1 on the list. Like, absolutely. He has been absolutely insane. I've got the obvious ones. I've got Fisher. I wrote down Boykin. I thought Boykin might be a good player. He's going to be really important in coverage.
He's the one I think on Claire the biggest.
On Claire,
I think Boykin not allowing Claire to box out, because that's the way Claire likes to play.
Yeah.
He isn't a stand up tight end. He is your
Mhm.
traditional tight end. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win because I'm big. And Boykin's gonna have to be physical as he has been.
Yes.
For me, for Hardy, and you almost had it, Seth. You were right there. He needs to clog those windows in the zone.
Mhm.
Is what he needs to do. He needs to prevent those deep crossers by getting in those sand windows. Is what he has to do more than tight end coverage, I think. Because again, I think Boykin's going to be playing that husky rover position, more kind of shadowing tight ends and running backs. I think it's going to be, again, so you were right there, right at the end of it. He's going to have to make sure Tate isn't running wide open across the middle. He's going to have to make sure, again, that if Bo Jackson breaks the first level, that he cleans it up, right? Because I think we see Aiden Fisher playing close to the line a lot. I think we try to see Aiden Fisher play the say-in game wrecker. And he's done that all year, right? Like Aiden Fisher plays 2 to 3 yards from the line a lot.
Mhm.
So I think it's really going to be important for Hardy. Hardy was another guy I had for similar impact reasons, but different strategic reasons on the field.
Yeah. So I didn't officially pick Boykin, but
It's a great shout. It's a great shout.
It was one. I'll go with pressure, and I've talked about it enough to know that if we can get pressure on Sayan, then he's gonna do something stupid. Like, he's not a stupid player; he's a very good football player. But you've seen it with our quarterback. It's gonna be the same with their quarterback. If we can get pressure on him, it's gonna be big time.
I'm gonna say I don't think we can get pressure on Sayan from the edge. It's gonna have to be.
It's gonna come from the middle. It's gonna be Bones. It's gonna be Hardy. It's gonna be Fisher with their blitz. Yeah.
Sayan's too good in the pocket. I love Daly. I love Kamara. I was waiting for one of you. Oh my God, Baker in the background's hilarious. I was waiting for one of you guys to say him, and I was like, I don't think. Again, they're both honorable mention all Big Ten players. I think Kamara and Daly have almost no impact on this game at all because pressure from the edge. Their tackles are too good. Sayan moves in the pocket too well. They release the ball too quickly. You are not going to be able to win this game with pressure on the edge. You're just not going to be able to do that. It's going to have to be up the middle.
And as you said with the Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells model is you take away the best player. So you know that they're going to scheme up to make sure that Kamara isn't a game wrecker. So yeah, it's just going to be the specific attention that he gets and the pass rush off the edge gets, especially that I think they're going to scheme to make sure that doesn't affect them too bad.
Yep. Because again, they don't want Sayan out of the pocket,
right?
They want Sayan in the pocket as long as possible because that's how their offense runs. Yep. There's no bootlegs. There's no long play actions. It is 3-step drop. It is 1-2-step drops. It is everything is very quick in the middle of the offensive line.
Yep. Yeah. So, and that's what I meant by that. All right, let's wrap this up. We'll burst through this. We'll do around the championships real quick. Conference USA Championship. Our boys Kennesaw State are taking on Jacksonville State at home. Kennesaw State favored by 2.5. I got Kennesaw winning.
Kennesaw money line.
Kennesaw.
There you go. Troy at the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt Conference against number 19 JMU. JMU has got a lot of pressure. Has got a lot of pressure with the college football playoff. I've got JMU covering easily 23.5.
I got a don't touch, but I like the over 47.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I like JMU winning, but is Chesney already out the door? There's
a lot of those.
A lot of stuff going on.
So there's another one here, another possible college football playoff team with a coach out the door.
Neither team has a coach. Neither team has a coach.
The American Athletic Conference, North Texas visits Tulane. North Texas favored by 2.5. I got North Texas winning that one, covering 2.5 points.
I don't. North Texas does not cover. They have a very soft defense. Give me Tulane money line.
I love North Texas. I hate that Oklahoma State got their coach.
You're going to like Oklahoma State next year, then,
and they'll probably get the freshman quarterback too. I would assume.
Well, yep. And their running back is leading everybody in everything, by the way. Mountain West, UNLV. This is going to be a great game. UNLV goes to Boise State. It was a great game in the regular season. This will be a good game now. Boise State favorite by 4. I don't know. I got Boise State just barely winning it on the money line.
Boise State.
Yep, I got Boise State money line as well. If you take Kennesaw, Tulane, and Boise State, it comes out to plus 500. I've hit a 7-game parlay, a 5-leg parlay. I will, again, drop it down by 3 legs, run this 3-game money line parlay, comes out to plus 500 on your sportsbook.
So Boise State is my other team. That's the team I watched more than, I probably watched 11 Ohio State games, so I probably watched all 12 of Boise State's. This is a team that is limping to the finish line. They lost their quarterback several weeks ago. This is a team that has a great running game, but can't really do anything else otherwise. I would take UNLV outright. Sorry.
They are favored. Oh, no, they're not favored.
No. Boise's favorite, and their quarterback that got hurt sucked anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, shut up.
Big 12. This is another huge college football playoff game. God, please, Texas Tech win or BYU win and keep Miami out. Number 11 BYU against number 5 Texas Tech. Texas Tech only favorite by 12.5. They beat the dog out of them last time they played. I got Texas Tech covering the money line or covering the spread at 12.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the backdoor cover here. I think Texas Tech wins. I think Texas Tech wins comfortably. I do think BYU gets a late score here and makes this more of a 8 to 11 point game. Give me 12.5 BYU.
Yeah, I had this as a 10-point game.
Maction in Ford Field. Miami of Ohio versus Western Michigan. This is going to be a great game. Western Michigan favorite by 2.5. I got Western just because I like Western.
No, you don't. Walt Bell is there. Give me Miami.
So is Brock Lowry. No, Western Michigan has been the dominant team in the MAC all season. Miami kind of fell their way into this game. I like, if it's the best team on a neutral site, I would take Western Michigan.
You Walt Bell simps.
I'm a Brock Lowry simp.
He found his level.
Brock Lowry, baby. He's got his quarterback now.
He was at UMass and couldn't find
He's better than UMass. He's not as good as Western Michigan or whatever.
That's
I don't know
right.
what.
Whatever. SEC Championship, CBS. It's the same thing every goddamn year. Number 4 Georgia versus number 10 Alabama. Who cares? I got Georgia winning. And covering the spread, 2.5 points.
Fuck the Sharps. Give me Georgia.
Yep.
Georgia.
The game nobody's going to watch, and the game that we need the result to get JMU into the CFP. I got Duke against number 18 Virginia. Virginia only favorite by 3.5. Give me 7-5 Duke to win the ACC and not make the college football playoff.
Mensa versus Calamac, or what's your boy? Calcavecchia? Something like that.
Calandry?
Calandria. There we go. Calandria. That's what I was thinking of. Give me Darian Mensa and Mario Cristobal. Wait, that's Miami. I don't know ACC football at all.
No, you're right.
It's
right.
The other
you're
one.
Right.
It's not. It's Cristobal's at Miami. The other one is there. The guy that used to be the DC at Penn State.
Yes.
Diaz, Manny Diaz.
Yeah,
Manny Diaz. That's who I'm thinking. Give me Manny Diaz and Darian Mensa
And them boys.
Yeah, Duke.
JMU into the give me 2 group of 5 teams in the CFP. All right. You got any randos left?
I do. Let's speed through them. I already gave my answer. What is the most valuable position on the field not being quarterback? Seth first, then Bragg.
Left tackle. Wait, we're talking offense or defense or everything?
All positions.
Left tackle.
Kicker. I don't know.
Does playing in a dome help or hurt either team?
Helps IU.
Yeah. Helps IU.
Yeah, I think it helps. I think it helps IU.
Yeah.
I kind of answered this, so just give it a yes or no. Do you think both teams call a similar offensive and defensive game plan?
Yes.
Or do you think we see a change?
Oh, similar to what they've run all season. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Yes, except I think we take a couple more shots.
Okay. I can guarantee you and I will be taking a couple of shots. Who went ultimately? Two things. Who wins the special teams? You have the Big Ten Kicker of the Year. You have Caleb Downs. Who wins special teams on Saturday?
I've got us. Yeah, we got a very good punter. We've got I think the best kicker in the country.
I think you kick every kickoff out the back of the end zone. The favorable conditions at Lucas Oil for kicking should make that an easy task. So I think you limit any kind of return game whatsoever, except for the punting, and use directional punting as much as possible to pin them towards the corners.
Got it.
Easier said than done, obviously. But
I have two more questions after this, but I think this will lead to predictions. Who wins the trenches Saturday? Bragg, you first.
Ohio State.
Okay, Seth?
Ohio State.
Okay. Fan percentage breakdown on Saturday. Bragg?
55-45.
Who?
It'll
Ohio State.
I think it's probably 50-50, but it'll be impossible to tell because you have the same exact shade of ugly.
You'll be able to tell because if everybody that's going is going to care. You're not spending that amount of money to go to that game and not.
You're not spending any money.
No, I'm not. Sitting in a suite. But
I'm not either. I'm not either.
You're not either.
So.
You're right. But your IU fans can get a towel. Okay, listen. If you've made it this long into the pod, you can go get a rally towel from Victory Field if you go early enough. I think as soon as noon. Brandon, correct?
Yes.
Or if you're going to the pep rally, which you can purchase through the IU ticket office, I believe, or through the varsity club, it's $85, free food. Cash bar, but you also get a towel. The band will be there. Cheerleaders will be there. I've gone to these before at these events. They're incredible. It's at the convention center too. So literally like the warmest, closest place you can be to Lucas Oil Stadium to have a little pregame party.
Yep.
And Brandon and I will be there.
I actually think Ohio State is looking past this game. I think Ohio State has national championship aspirations. They've been here before. I think it's actually 60-40 Indiana in the stadium Saturday.
I just think they bought their tickets a long time ago.
I think fan-wise you're right, but I think team-wise you're wrong because this team hasn't won a conference championship in a while. So I think that Ryan Day will emphasize it, but maybe the fans don't so much because they anticipate much warmer weather traveling ahead.
Yep. So they did a real quick. They did a Ryan Day checklist thing on the Michigan broadcast where this one was left, and what was the other one? It was win a national title. He did that, and it was win a Big Ten champion. I think this is the only one left.
Yeah, beat Michigan.
Beat Michigan and win a Big Ten championship. Yeah.
Yep. So again, I had a whole list of gambling props. We're not going to go over it. Things that I like. They love Ohio State to get the first sack. I love Indiana to get the first sack. You can get that at plus 200.
That roof will blow off. Like if that's what happens, that roof will fucking explode.
Look what happened at Oregon. That's all I'm saying. They also like Ohio State to score on their first possession. You can get Ohio State to punt. If we get a sack, they're punting. You can get Ohio State punt at plus 110.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Love that as well. I had about 10 more, but we don't have time. So I'm done.
Score predict. Seth.
A Brandon gambling props pod. Speak loud on social media. Again, I got like a dozen of them, but we don't have time.
Yeah. Seth Sack.
All right, I got one. I was just on the playing surface last week at Lucas Oil Stadium on Friday. They recently updated the surface last year.
I like Turfus.
Turfus, whatever it's called. you used to see these little black rubber pellets pop up all the time when anyone dragged their feet, get tackled. They'd have these little dust, like red or black dust clouds that would pop up. And it would be really nice because you'd be able to tell a guy dragged his toe in bounds. And there was like, oh, great, perfect, great, wonderful. Last year, they changed it. And they don't do the little rubber pellets anymore. But I didn't notice this so much last year. Last year, it just seemed kind of like a dead surface. This year, when those players are down there, they use this new coconut husk oil combination, and it creates this yellowish brown cloud on the field surface. And it ends up, anybody who has a white jersey, or if you look at their white tape on their shoes because they tape up their ankles, those will turn like this dirty yellow brown. It's really weird. Just pay attention to it as the white jerseys, white tape turns to different colors over the course of the game.
Indiana will be the away team, so we will be in white.
Yeah. So just pay attention to that. If somebody gets sacked, somebody's on the ground quite a bit, they will eventually have kind of a white, yellowish, or white to yellow to brown transition throughout the day.
What jerseys do you think, Brad? What jerseys do you think Ohio State goes with? Traditional reds, or do they go
just traditional? They'll go traditional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Prediction time.
Yes. Oh God, here we go. He's gonna break our heart first. Seth, what do you got?
I have Ohio State leading by a touchdown late, and ends up kicking a field goal to get some separation, 31-21.
That's a lot of points. All right. What do you got?
Yeah, that's the over as well.
When everyone thinks it's going to be a defensive game, what happens?
Points.
Big offense.
Unless Iowa's involved.
Big points. My other gambling prop, plus 1,200 to go to overtime. We showed how close these two teams are. Give me 48-46 in double overtime. Ohio State does not get the 2-point conversion because Aiden Fisher bashes it down. Indiana 48, Ohio State 46. Indiana wins.
I have an eerily similar situation. So mine is
That's
along the lines
34, by the way, at the end of regulation.
That is. So mine is along the lines of the defensive side of it, though. So I have a final score of Ohio State 20, IU 23 in overtime, where neither team scores a touchdown, 20-20 going to overtime. Ohio State, I haven't figured this out. Either they turn the ball over or miss a field goal, and then IU kicks the field goal to walk off and win the Big Ten title.
Plus 1,200 for overtime. I love that bet. That is worth a 13-1 $10 dart throw.
Yeah.
These teams are identical, everyone. I know we all got to go. I think this game has overtime written all over it. These are, again, if you get rid of the names, Ohio State, Indiana, these couldn't be two closer teams. They cannot. We went through it for 2 hours, how close these teams are. This is overtime. Anyone can win.
Love it. I love it. I hate all of our predictions.
I'm so freaking pumped.
But I love it. I can't wait.
Freaking pumped.
Sucks I can't be around you during the game. Maybe
You
I'll
would have
trade
a
your
lot of
other
bruises,
people.
my man. A lot of hard tats on the back. A lot of knees driven into thighs.
I wonder if I can trade tickets. Maybe I'll trade with that weird couple you guys are going with if it's like not going well at halftime.
Whoa.
And I'll give them the suite, and then I'll go sit next to you guys. So,
They would take that. I think anyone would take that.
I think so. All right, I got 2/3 of my children in here, and I don't know what one of them's doing with my phone. So, all right, be sure to download, rate, review. See it. Peace. Cheers.
You want to
Cheers,
see?
everyone.
I got to say something
Go
dumb.
Say something dumb.
Thanks for covering the spread, Indiana. Woo!
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.